There are places on this planet where governments will look you in the eyes and tell you they don't exist. No address, no records, no official name on any map. And yet, thousands of people work there every single day. Military bases buried in the desert, underground bunkers built in secret, private islands that no satellite should ever be able to see clearly. The funny thing is, these places exist. They always have. And little by little, the truth always comes out. Whether through leaked documents, satellite photos, or simple accidents, these places end up exposed to the world. These are the 10 places that officially don't exist. Number 10. Area 51, Nevada, USA. Let's start with the most famous one, because it belongs here. For decades, the United States government completely denied that Area 51 existed. People who worked there couldn't tell their families where they went every morning. The airspace above was restricted. Civilians who got too close were turned away by force. The government kept referring to the surrounding region as the Nevada Test and Training Range and pretended there was nothing unusual going on. It wasn't until 2013, that the CIA officially acknowledged Area 51 as a real facility. Declassified documents confirmed it had been used since the 1950s to test aircraft like the U-2 spy plane and the SR-71 Blackbird. Planes so advanced for their time that people who saw them thought they were UFOs. So the UFO stories, technically, they weren't wrong. Just the wrong kind of UFO. Number 9. Mount Yamantau, Russia. Deep in Russia's Ural Mountains sits a mountain called Yamantau, which in the local Bashkir language roughly translates to Bad Mountain. Starting in the 1990s, American intelligence agencies noticed something strange. Massive construction activity, tens of thousands of workers, railway tracks being built to a location with no apparent civilian purpose. The project was so large it was visible from spy satellites. When the United States asked Russia what was being built there, the answers kept changing. First, it was a mining project, then a government food storage facility, then a treasury vault, then a disaster shelter. To this day, Russia has never officially confirmed what Yamantau really is. Most analysts believe it's a massive underground bunker, possibly one of the largest ever built, designed to survive a nuclear war. Some estimates suggest it could shelter tens of thousands of people for months. Russia says it doesn't exist. The satellite photos say something very large definitely does. Number 8. Diego Garcia, Indian Ocean. Technically, Diego Garcia is a British territory in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Technically. In the 1960s and 70s, the entire local population, the Chagossians, was forcibly removed from the island and dumped in Mauritius and the Seychelles. No warning, no compensation. They were simply told to leave. Why? Because the United Kingdom and the United States wanted to build a massive military base there. One that wouldn't appear on any tourist map, wouldn't show up in any public military records, and wouldn't generate questions. Diego Garcia became one of the most strategic and least talked about military bases in the world. It was used in Gulf War operations, the war in Afghanistan, and according to some human rights investigators, also served as a secret detention site during the War on Terror. The base is real. The flights that pass through it are documented. The people removed from their homes to make way for it are real, and have been fighting in British courts for decades trying to return. The British government, for a long time, acted as if none of this was a conversation worth having. Number 7. RAF Menwith Hill, United Kingdom. In the middle of the English countryside, surrounded by quiet fields and rolling hills, sits a facility covered in dozens of giant white domes that look like they fell from another planet. RAF Menwith Hill is technically a Royal Air Force base. In practice, it's operated almost entirely by the United States National Security Agency, the NSA, and functions as one of the largest signals intelligence interception stations on the planet. What does it do exactly? It intercepts communications, satellites, phones, emails, military transmissions. For decades, the British government answered questions about the base with a carefully crafted combination of evasion and bureaucratic vagueness. The paradox is this: the base is visible from the road. The domes are impossible to ignore. Local residents drive past it every day. And yet, for years, any direct question about what happened inside received the same answer. Nothing worth discussing publicly. Declassified documents and investigative journalism confirm that Menwith Hill plays a direct role in global surveillance operations, including the monitoring of communications from European allies, something that officially should never have happened. Number 6. Rudloe Manor, United Kingdom. Somewhere beneath the English countryside in Wiltshire, there is a network of tunnels and bunkers that the British government spent years refusing to discuss. On the surface, Rudloe Manor looks like a fairly ordinary RAF base, but what lies beneath it is a different story. During the Cold War, it served as a communications hub and hardened underground facility designed to keep the British government operational in the event of a nuclear attack. For years, when journalists or researchers requested information about the underground installation, the answer was always the same. It doesn't exist, the records don't exist, or any information is classified beyond what can be disclosed. Parts of the story came to light through declassified documents and investigative journalism. What was confirmed is that the underground sections were used for military communications and secret government operations for decades. Officially, Rudloe Manor was just an ordinary RAF station. The tunnels below it were still waiting for the full story.
Number 5. The NSA Data Center in Utah, USA. Before Edward Snowden leaked documents in 2013, the United States National Security Agency was barely a publicly acknowledged reality. People in the intelligence community knew it existed, most civilians did not. The NSA built a colossal data center in Bluffdale, Utah. It covers more than 90,000 square meters and cost approximately $2 billion to construct. It consumes roughly 65 megawatts of power, enough to supply a small city. What does it do? It stores and processes enormous amounts of data, communications, emails, internet traffic, collected through surveillance programs that, before Snowden, the NSA denied existed. The facility itself was not a secret in the physical sense. Construction crews built it, local residents saw it, it was visible. What was secret was its purpose. What was officially denied was the mass surveillance program it was built to support. After Snowden, the existence of the NSA and many of its programs became public knowledge. But for years, asking about this facility would earn you a wall of silence, contempt, or accusations of being a conspiracy theorist.
Number 4. Dulce Base, New Mexico, USA. This one is the hardest to fit on a list like this because the line between confirmed fact and speculation here is deliberately blurred, and that in itself says a lot. Dulce is a small town in northern New Mexico near the Jicarilla Apache Nation Reservation. Starting in the 1970s and 80s, reports began emerging of intense and inexplicable military activity in the region. Unidentified helicopters, strange lights, cattle mutilated in patterns that local veterinarians couldn't explain. Then came the documents, some allegedly leaked by a former government employee named Paul Benowitz, who was later the target of a deliberate disinformation campaign run by the U.S. Air Force itself. That part was confirmed. The disinformation campaign was real. What exactly did the Air Force not want Benowitz to find out? That was never officially confirmed. What is documented is that significant classified activity took place in the region, that at least one disinformation program was run against a civilian to keep him away from the area, and that questions about what really happened in Dulce have never received straight answers. The rest? You decide how far you want to take it.
Number 3. Kapustin Yar, Russia. Known as Russia's Area 51, Kapustin Yar is a rocket launch and testing facility in southern Russia that was used extensively during the Cold War. Unlike Area 51, which eventually had its declassification moment, Kapustin Yar remained almost completely off the record for much longer. This is where Russia tested some of its most advanced missile systems and, according to declassified Soviet documents, possibly conducted experiments with captured German aerospace technology after World War II. For decades, it was so classified that Soviet citizens didn't even know it existed. Western intelligence agencies knew something was there, they just couldn't confirm what. Reports emerged over the years suggesting that Kapustin Yar was also a site where unidentified aerial objects were studied, though believing those reports depends on how much you trust documents that were never supposed to be released. What is confirmed is that Russia operated a massive classified testing facility here for decades and told virtually no one outside the military apparatus that it was real.
Number 2. Beijing's underground city. In the 1960s, Mao Zedong ordered the construction of a secret underground city beneath Beijing. It was called Declassified, literally underground city, and was designed to shelter hundreds of thousands of people in the event of a nuclear attack or Soviet invasion. The tunnels stretched for kilometers, connecting bomb shelters, hospitals, factories, restaurants, and even small cinemas. For much of the 20th century, its existence was not publicly acknowledged. As satellite and aerial photography advanced, obvious clues emerged that something massive lay beneath the city, but official Chinese sources were in no hurry to confirm anything. Sections of Declassified were quietly open to the public in the 2000s, with no fanfare. The sections made accessible revealed an elaborate, functional underground network that could genuinely shelter large populations for extended periods. The full extent has never been publicly mapped. The sections still closed to the public have never been explained. a city beneath a city, officially acknowledged now but still not fully revealed. Number 1. Pine Gap, Australia. Most Australians have heard the name. Very few know what actually happens there. Pine Gap sits in the middle of the Australian outback near Alice Springs and is officially described as a joint defense facility operated by Australia and the United States. That description explains almost nothing about what Pine Gap actually is. Based on decades of investigative journalism, declassified documents, and testimony from former intelligence officers, Pine Gap functions as one of the most significant CIA and NSA ground stations in the world. It intercepts satellite communications. It helps guide drone strikes. It plays a direct role in intelligence collection operations across Asia, the Middle East, and beyond. For years, the Australian government deflected any serious question about the base with vague language. Joint facility, defense purposes, nothing specific. What makes Pine Gap especially striking is that Australian citizens, the people whose government technically co-manages this place, have almost no information about what decisions are made there or how it affects Australian foreign policy. Researchers who have studied the base argue it has direct connections to military operations Australia was never officially part of. Pine Gap is on the map. The buildings are visible from the road, and yet it remains in every real sense a place that officially doesn't exist.
10 places, 10 official denials, 10 moments where governments looked directly into the camera and said the truth wasn't real. What they all have in common isn't the secret, it's how long it took to admit the obvious. And if you think this list is complete, it isn't. It's just what we've been able to confirm so far. What's still buried out there, you'll probably never know. Or you will, 40 years from now when someone leaks the right documents. Now, if you enjoyed the video or want to see a part 2 of this list, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications because there's a lot more fascinating content coming your way. See you next time.